Hello, hello! Welcome back to my channel. Today, I will be talking all about irregular verbs. Now, irregular verbs is known to be super difficult to understand because they do not follow the normal rules that we have for all of our other regular verbs. So, I thought this would be a great topic to start with and try to explain how we use these irregular verbs and how we change the endings for the grammatical structures in sentences. So let's go. Let's just start by going through what a regular verb looks like and how we change the ending for the past tense. So a regular verb would be something like walk or talk. So if we take the word walk and we need to change it into the past tense, all we do is just add ed at the end. So it goes from walk to walked. I walked my dog yesterday. So the same thing with talk. We just add the ed. I talked to my friends on the way to school, for example. So those are our regular verbs. They are very easy to manage because all we have to remember is just to add the ed, or if there's already e at the end of the word, you just add the d. So very easy rules to remember and to practice. It gets much trickier when we get to our irregular verbs, and those are the ones we will be talking about today. So the irregular verbs, they do not follow the same ed ending. For example, a word like buy, to buy something. We cannot put the ed at the end and say, I buyed some groceries. No, this is wrong, wrong, wrong. We can never, ever, ever say that in English. So, because we cannot use the regular ending for this word, it is the irregular verb. So, to change something like buy into the past tense, we have to change the spelling altogether and the pronunciation. So, buy becomes bought. We spell bought, B-O-U-G-H-T. Yes, I know it's very strange spelling. But anyways, so to buy becomes bought. The same with catch, to catch the ball. Catch, again, we cannot say catched. We say caught, C-A-U-G-H-T. I caught the ball yesterday. So these are some of the differences. We also have endings with the en, like to drive. I drive my car. We say driven or drove. So drove would be the simple past and driven would be the past participle. Right? So I drove my car to school yesterday. So we need to really make sure that we are looking at the verb and trying to decide whether it is the regular verb or irregular verb, because the endings are very, very different depending on which one it is. Examples of irregular verbs would be to get, to see, or to do. So again, with get, we can never say getted. This word just doesn't exist in English, simply. So get becomes got, G-O-T. I got a present from my best friend yesterday. And then see, with see, we change see to saw. I saw my friend. Or the past participle of see would be seen, S-E-E-N. So sometimes the past and past participle are the same, but sometimes they're different too. Those are very tricky as well. Then we have other words like do, right? Do becomes did instead of dude, because again, dude is not an English word except for D-U-D-E, which has a whole different meaning that we're not going to talk about in this video today. So, the tricky part about irregular verbs and the question that I always get asked is, teacher, how do we know if it is the regular or irregular verb? If you look at a verb that you've never ever seen before and you don't know the meaning, how can you tell if it is regular or irregular? That's the hard part, because the answer is there is no answer. So to understand when to use each one or which one is regular or irregular, it is simply memorization and practice. That's it. So I'm going to show you a list of irregular verbs now so that you can look at it, you can take a photograph of it so that you have it, and you have to memorize that list. There's no other way to do it, because if we look at the sentence, there is often no indicator of if it is a regular or irregular verb. So that is the tricky part, that is the hard part, is that you just have to know them. You need to practice, practice, practice. You need to memorize them over and over again and write down the list, regular, irregular, and do this until you are familiar with a bunch of verbs, and then you know when they are the regular or irregular. So, for example, with me as an English teacher, I will know if it is regular or irregular, but I only know this because I studied English for many, many years, and I practiced these verbs so many times. So that is what you have to do. A lot of people do not like this answer, but it is the truthful and real one. So if you really want to know them, you need to study them to the point where you get familiar and really know them. So as promised, here is a list of verbs that are irregular verbs. So this is a list that you have to know and memorize. I'm going to leave it here in the video just for you to look at and take any photographs or write it down or whatever you need to do to memorize this list. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.